Hey there, fellow nerds and geeks. I'm Aaron Nabus, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Hall H Show. What does Captain America, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, and tater tots have in common? If you guessed what are some things that one of our guests, 10-year-old cosplayer and soon-to-be 11, Gavin Richter, does not love, then congratulations, and you must be a psychic. Can you guess what Gavin loves? His dad, fellow cosplayer, Shawn Richter, of course, though I'm sure Gavin's Xbox is a close second. This episode has some major feels, and it was great seeing how close these two are. I can neither confirm or deny any shedding of tears. We'll all be at WonderCon this weekend. In fact, both Shawn and Gavin will be participating in a few panels there, which we talk about on this episode. We also can't wait to see what Shawn and Gavin cosplay as, and we especially can't wait to meet you. So please say hi if you see us there. On behalf of my co-host, Alex Benedicto, we hope you enjoy this episode. Artists, assemble. Hey there, fellow nerds and geeks. Aaron Nabus here, and welcome to the Hall H Show. On this episode, we welcome the dynamic father and son cosplay duo, Shawn and Gavin Richter. Along with Shawn, Gavin, and myself, I'm also joined by my brother from another mother and HallH.com co-founder, Alex Benedicto.
Hey, how's it going?
We are back at the downtown San Diego Central Library, which is walking distance to the San Diego Convention Center, home of the San Diego Comic-Con. Speaking of homes, I think this place might be our new home for the Hall H Show. Thank you, everyone, for being on the show.
Thanks for having us, guys. Glad to be here.
On this episode, we will find out how our guests found their geeky side and learn about their cosplay adventures, especially their charity events. Talk about their involvement with the Marvel Report and Sideshow Collectibles. Preview WonderCon 2017, which will take place on March 31st through April 2nd in Anaheim, California. We'll get the 4-1 on the panel that Shawn is also moderating at WonderCon. We'll put a quick spotlight on some artists that recently caught our attention online in our Art Watch segment. And we'll ask our guests a few off the beaten path set of questions in our Thunder Round. Then we'll end our show with a little flash forward, and we'll talk about what's on the horizon for all of us. I guess we'll get some introductions. Can you each introduce yourselves and let our audience know what first got you hooked on being a nerd and what led you to being an avid cosplayer?
Well, hello. My name is Shawn Richter, and despite the fact that most people think that I'm your typical middle-aged, comic book collector with a garage full of comic books and, somebody that has been into superheroes and all that stuff for my entire life, that is absolutely not the case. I wasn't into superheroes at all, really, when I was a kid. That all came to being when Gavin was probably like 2 or 3 years old. He, when he's a little baby, you watch those Elmo, all the baby shows, Thomas the Train, that kind of stuff. And, as a parent, that stuff gets a little old pretty quickly. So
not only for the parent, but for the kids.
But for the kids, that's right. And I'd say when Gavin was probably like 3 years old, maybe, kind of for a boy, the next progression as far as watching shows and that kind of stuff is animated superhero shows. So I don't really remember which one we started with first, but I know some of the ones that we've watched over the years are the Avengers, the more recent Disney XD Avengers cartoon, I think it's called Ultimate Spider-Man. Is that right? The Spidey cartoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's called Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man, yeah. But that, I don't think those were around when you were 3 years old. So I don't remember which one we started, but that's...
I remember which one we started with.
Okay, then go ahead.
We started with Superhero Squad.
Superhero Squad. I loved Superhero Squad. Season 1 was really good. Season 2 was like, I don't know. And then I think it kind of disappeared. But that was definitely one of the first ones. So we got into it together, watching the cartoons, and we may get into this later, I guess, but we started going to Comic-Con. Our first convention was San Diego Comic-Con. And
Starting in the deep waters.
Yep, exactly. Started with the big one, and that was when Gavin was 3 years old. So he will be 11 next month. So this will be, I think, his 9th trip to San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow.
Wow, so you jumped in when it started to really, really grow. And
Yeah, it's funny. In fact, I tell people, we had seen Comic-Con on the news, and again, we weren't into that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, so we didn't pay that close attention. But, you can't help but see it on the news and the big crowds and all the costumes and all that stuff. Didn't really know anything about it, and then he, started getting into the superhero cartoons. And one year we thought, when he was 3 years old, we thought, let's check out this Comic-Con thing. And we found out, doing a little research, that Sunday was Kids Day, and it was a little less busy, and maybe a good place to start for us. So I don't remember how we got our badge that first year, but it was like a month before the con. I think maybe we got it on their website or something.
The good old days.
But the funny thing, I'll never forget this. The funny thing was, we walked up to the sales pavilion where you get your badge, and there's all those computer terminals, and you go up and you show them your license, and you pick up your badge, and then you turn and you go to get your Comic-Con bag and your program. And we happened to notice off to the left there was one table, like the size of the table we're sitting at here now, like a 6 or 8 foot booth with a little sign that said badges for next year, 2000, whatever it was, 2009 maybe,
Yeah,
2010, something like that.
Yes.
Purchase badges here. And we're like, well, it seems like, okay, why not? So we literally walked over, and we were only going on Sunday. So we bought a Sunday badge for the following year. Literally walked over and had it in 90 seconds. Cool. And walked in, and that was literally, we've gone every year since. That was literally the last time, we could do that.
Yeah. I think that's when you had to get them. The line started building up in the following year.
Yeah. It's the system has changed every year, although I think that the last 3 years now, it's been pretty consistent. I think they've finally found a way to handle, the chaos that is
in the most fair way possible.
Yeah. To their credit, they do try to change things every year. They try to make it. Basically, when badge sales are over, everybody that got a badge is happy, and everybody that didn't thinks that the system is wrong and needs to be changed. Basically. So yeah, I think the system they have now, you don't have to leave your house. It's over in an hour, which some people might say, well, that's bad, but if you end up not getting in and not getting a badge, would you rather sit there for 1 hour or 4 hours? It's good that it's over in an hour, I think. So.
Yeah. And even if you don't get a ticket, I tell this to other people, and other people may not share my opinion about this, but even if you don't get a ticket, or even if I didn't get a ticket, I'm still going to go down there and enjoy the scenery and the moment.
Absolutely.
There's so many other things to do outside of the convention center.
Yeah, it gets bigger and better every year. And I think part of that is the crowd and the number of people that come for Comic-Con.
So many people at conventions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think part of it is just, I don't know if it's so much Comic-Con, but it's the other entities that come to Comic-Con, like Nerd HQ and all these other companies that come to Comic-Con, realizing that there is a market for that, because on Saturday, for example, Saturday badges go right away. So there's a lot of people that have, say, Thursday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Sunday badges, but they don't have a Saturday badge. So on Saturday, what are they going to do? They're not going to go to the mall or the library or something. They're going to go, they want to go to Comic-Con. So maybe they can't get in, but there's so much to do outside that, you can easily spend a day wandering around at all the off-site.
Yeah, so. I think the last episode I said, luckily I got a ticket, but if I didn't get a ticket this year, I was just going to do a podcast at the Starbucks at the Hilton Bayfront.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. And you never know who you'd get on that podcast either, because we've done that before. We hung out in the Marriott lobby last year. I'm going to bring Gavin in here now. Who did we run into and who did you get a selfie with last year at the Marriott lobby? Who was that?
Stanley.
Stanley,
wow.
Yeah. You want to quickly tell that story, how we got that?
No. Okay, fine. Okay, so I think we were sitting in the lobby, and we were both sketching, right? Yeah. We were both sketching, and then Stanley came across. I tried getting a selfie, but then he got in the elevator, and then I sat back down. Then he got out of the elevator again. I tried getting a selfie and I couldn't get it, so he walked away. He kept going back and forth. But one of the times I was just finally, all right, fine. And then I ran really fast and I'm like, Stanley, Mr. Stanley, can I get your autograph? Not autographs, selfie. And he's like, oh yeah, get in here. And then he took a selfie with me and he said, Excelsior.
Sweet.
Be persistent.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of Comic-Con is I always tell people that are new to the convention, you don't walk around Comic-Con with your head down looking at your phone. Mm-hmm. You walk around. I call it facial recognition software. As soon as I walk into Comic-Con, I'm looking at every face. Like, do I know this person? Is it someone famous? Is it a friend of mine? You just don't ever know who you're going to run into because all the famous people that come there, they're staying at one of the hotels right there. Mm-hmm. For the most part, and you hang out in the lobby after hours or in the morning and. They're getting coffee at Starbucks and having breakfast in the restaurant, just like everybody else. Now, I don't really condone running over and bothering people if they're eating or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, Stan Lee. I mean, how many opportunities you get to take a selfie with Stan Lee?
I know.
And
really
if
cool.
you do look at your phone and don't take his advice, you can just bump into Stan Lee and say, "Oh, sorry, sir," and just walk away.
That could totally happen. And how stupid would you feel for doing that, right?
You said Gavin's turning 11 next month.
Yes.
I'm curious, how were you at 11?
How was I at 11?
Ooh, I'm interested to hear this.
Boy, yeah. It's been like 100 years since I was 11. So
you're 111?
TV was in black and white, and the Pony Express was delivering mail. No. Well, like I said, I wasn't into superheroes a lot. I remember when I was about Gavin's age, I was into like army and military type stuff. I did.
Boy, I wonder how you got into Captain America.
I was never. What was I going to say? I've always been really intrigued with military and especially World War II. I've always had a thing for World War II since I was a kid. Playing with little army men and tanks, and I remember there was a military museum near where we lived, and I remember going there and taking pictures, like sitting on top of a tank. And I've never been a big comic book reader for whatever reason, but I definitely remember as a kid, I loved reading Sergeant Rock. That was the one comic book I can remember as a kid. I loved Sergeant Rock, and that was definitely my favorite.
So I was gonna say it's kind of scary with black and white TVs and everything, and you have to deliver by mail instead of just like texting or something. But there is one really good upside. Tell about Vegas. With
Vegas? Oh, well, this isn't really
Circus.
Comic-Con related. I'll keep it quick, but we used to go to Vegas. My parents loved Vegas, so I grew up in Illinois.
Okay.
And we used to go out to Vegas once a year, and there wasn't really a whole lot I was about 11 or 12. Wasn't a whole lot for kids to do, so they used to just drop me off at the arcade at Circus. And just basically give me a bunch of quarters.
A roll of quarters.
100 quarters.
A roll of quarters.
roll of quarters.
Yeah, a whole bunch of quarters and just go on, kid, go play the... Exactly. And I mean, Galaga, Robotron, Pac-Man, Asteroids, that was my jam, so...
Yeah, we used to go to Vegas a lot, and that's what happens. That's when you were able to leave your kids alone and
right. In fact, we used to stay. I think it was the Frontier, which was like a quarter mile maybe up the strip from Circus, and 11 years old, there I am in the arcade until whenever I was tired or ran out of quarters, whichever came first, which was usually when I ran out of quarters. And then walk myself back.
Exactly.
Nowadays, if you did that, you'd probably get Child Protective Services call on you. But we did go to Las Vegas Wizard World last year, and I got to take him to Circus, and he got to experience.
It was amazing.
The Vegas
especially
experience.
the part where we went to McDonald's.
To McDonald's,
because we saw the circuit shows in the middle arena.
There's like those bounce pads.
Have those.
Yeah, like every hour, I think they have shows. It's pretty cool, yeah. Okay.
I remember them swinging on all the bars.
Unfortunately, Wizard World is not in Vegas anymore, so I don't know.
Darn it.
Yeah. They have last year I went to the amazing Las Vegas Comic Con.
That one's a lot smaller, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe we'll go to that
Dad,
one.
so your the conversion of like when you were 11 and today, back then to last as long as you did, you need to bring 100 quarters. Today, you need to bring $100. That's basically the difference to last
something
that
like
long.
That. Yeah, well, yeah, you don't find arcade games that are a quarter anymore. That's the problem.
Except for like Ms. Pac-Man stuffed in the corner. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
I miss arcades.
Oh man, when I was his age, that was. I mean, you're talking about when I was 11. That was. I spent all my junior high years just pumping quarters in those machines at the arcade.
I thought
man.
you said you liked Army.
That's
Jump on your BMX
what
bike.
yeah. Oh man, with no helmet.
No helmet.
You know. Yeah.
So how did you find your way out to the West Coast?
It was a job transfer. The company I worked for, I grew up in Illinois. I lived there for 28 years. The company I worked for, the position I had, I traveled about 80% of the time, flying all over the country. And there was growing business out west, and I was young and single and didn't want to shovel snow anymore. And I said, hey, if you ever need somebody to move to Southern California or Arizona, I would move in a heartbeat. And about a year later, I was moving out here. So
Cool.
been out here 20 years.
Glad you moved here.
Yeah, you don't want to grow up in Illinois, trust me.
So I guess we can circle back to your cosplay adventures. I'm curious, what was your guys' first cosplay that you guys did?
I remember mine.
Go for it. You cosplayed before me, so you go first and then I'll go second.
Okay, first was our first serious one was a Captain America one, the first actual really good one. But our actual first, I actually think, was a Spider-Man suit from Target or something. I thought our first one was a Spidey, and then after that we got a Captain America, one of those padded ones with that makes you actually look stronger than you actually are, and you. He put these straps around me, so and then now we held magnets, but I had this shield. It was back then, I think it would have been up to my neck, how short I was, but now it's to my waist or something.
Yeah, it was funny. It was the Captain America, the heater shield.
Yeah.
Not the round one, but the bad shaped shield. And
Right.
if he stood with it with the point on the ground, literally the top of the shield would be right under his chin. The shield was almost as big as he was, which was what made it cute.
Right.
Because I think you were 6.
Yeah, and then there was the helmet that was really heavy. I remember it was an actual military helmet sprayed blue with the A on it, and it was so heavy for me back then.
Yeah, it was a metal army helmet that I got from the army surplus store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in El Cajon. Yeah, sprayed it blue and white and plopped it on his head. And that was strangely enough, that was at WonderCon, which is coming up next weekend. So that's your, what do they call that? Conversary, I think they call it. When you first cosplay at a convention, I think they call that a conversary. So I think this is God, I'd have to look and see if I think it's been 4 years since, I mean, it seems longer, but I think it's been 4 years since you cosplayed for the first time. Yeah, so he had the muscular child Captain America suit, and then we put cargo pants over it, because it's like the onesie, where it's a shirt and pant all in one, and the shirt looks cool because it's all muscular, but the pants are pretty plain. They're like pajama pants.
So what made you decide to try doing cosplay, Gavin?
Just watching the shows, just watching all those superheroes in action and everything. I was like, oh, wow. And so Dad, can we cosplay? Just asked him to cosplay, I think. Right?
To be honest, I don't even remember. We had been, to so many cons by then. And, when you first, I remember first going to San Diego Comic-Con when he was 3, and you see, and cosplay has grown so much in the last 9 years. It's so much more prevalent at conventions than it used to be. There's a lot more cosplayers, which is great. But, going to your first con, you're just overwhelmed by, oh my God, all these costumes, and some of them are the store-bought costumes, which is fine. And some of them are they walked right off the movie screen. They're just amazingly accurate.
Don't even mention the Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. That's
those guys. Those guys. They're the 9 foot tall.
It's crazy.
Transform. That's just how people. I'm still blown away by some of the cosplays that some people do. That's crazy. But yeah. So he did. So I'll get to mine. So he did Captain America at WonderCon, and he was only 6. Metal helmet, metal shield. He looked so adorable, and everybody wanted a picture with him, and he loved it, and I loved it, and Gavin's shaking his head at me, but he loved it. So that was at WonderCon, and then at San Diego Comic-Con the same year. Now this was the year. Well, it would have been 2012 because this was. I got to think about this. This was the year it was between Comic-Con is in July, and this Comic-Con was between when Coulson died in the Avengers, which I think came out in May, if I'm not mistaken, 2012, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was starting in the fall. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, but the show hadn't started yet. In fact, I think they showed the pilot here that year. So at WonderCon, he was Cap, and then I decided for Comic-Con, because we're huge Marvel fans, huge Coulson fans, we were so excited that that Coulson was coming back. We're so I cried my eyes out when Coulson died. I'm man enough to admit it. And so I decided, okay, well, I'll be Captain America, and he'll be Coulson.
Yeah.
And so at San Diego Comic-Con that year, I mean, Coulson was easy. It was just a suit and a badge. But then that was my first semi-complex cosplay item that I made a destroyer gun, the big gun that Coulson had in the Avengers.
Yeah, it's like a huge Nerf gun with all these cups at the front. And you did a really good job with that.
Oh, thanks. It's not, if you put it next to a picture of the destroyer gun, it's not super accurate, but when you see him walking around with this huge black gun, once in a while somebody goes Men in Black, and Gavin's just like, oh.
but
pretty much everybody.
I saw the movie, but now when I see the movie, I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
but...
he just saw Men in Black, all three of them, not too long ago. But yeah, I mean, most people know right away that it's Coulson. Anyway, so he went as Coulson, and my Cap costume, I had the same helmet and shield that he had used for WonderCon, and then I just had a pair of cargo pants, and I had like a fake leather jacket off of eBay. It wasn't, wouldn't even call it a costume, but it was good enough. And it was cute because Coulson idolizes Captain America, and here's Dad as Captain America, and his son is Coulson.
Let me tell the Kid Coulson story.
Yes, Gavin, of course, is known by the whole world as Kid Coulson, and this is how it came into being.
Moniker.
Okay, so before I was just called Coulson. I was just about to say Kid Coulson, but that's not true. I was just called Coulson or just like that, and everyone was suggesting these names, and the one that I didn't like was Baby Coulson.
Yeah, somebody called him Baby Coulson. He was like, and now he was 6 at the time, and even at age 6, he's like, I'm not a Baby Coulson. He was not fond of that one at all.
And then people kept suggesting all these young Coulson, and then someone said Kid Coulson. I'm like, yes, that was the one. Yeah, he really dug that. And the funny thing is, that costume, my original plan, because Coulson had just died in the Avengers, and we knew he was coming back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., my original thought was, because Gavin is so young, he was only 6 at the time, my original thought was Coulson died and Gavin was going to be the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that inherited the destroyer gun. That was my original thought. But then everybody looked at him and, of course, said he was a young Coulson. And it just stuck. It just made more sense. And then at Comic-Con that year, we went down to the convention center, I think on Monday, before everything was all set up. And I did a photo shoot of him in his costume. And we tweeted it out. And I think on Friday at Comic-Con, Clark Gregg, I had tagged Clark in it, and Clark retweeted it. And my Twitter had never blown up like that before. You know, getting a retweet from Clark Gregg definitely blows up your Twitter feed.
Most definitely.
And it was really cool. So that was where Kid Coulson came from.
That's cool. I guess another reason why I asked you that question is because my 2 friends, Robert and Min Jamar, they say hello, by the way.
Oh, hey, guys.
I think they met you at San Diego Comic Fest.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they're starting to get more into cosplaying. They cosplayed as Han Solo and Princess Leia. And I was texting with Rob last night, and he has a crazy spin on Glenn from Walking Dead. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, yeah.
Is he going to do it for San Diego Comic-Con?
We'll see. Hopefully I didn't spill the beans on anything.
Just revealed his new costume to the whole world.
Sorry, Rob.
Spoiler alert.
So I'm sure, you've done a whole lot of cosplays. Are there any that stand out? Any that are your favorites?
Of our own, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the answer to this.
Well, I know what mine is. My favorite standout costume, and I've done a number of them. I probably couldn't even list all of them if you asked me to at this point, but I'm known primarily as Captain America, so I have a number of Captain America costumes. And I've started to branch out finally. I have a couple of Mandalorian costumes, a Jedi, a Chewbacca.
A new one, the Star Prince?
Star-Lord, yeah, I'm working on Star-Lord right now.
Yes,
but, the coolest one, I make some stuff. I'm not that great at, I can't make a helmet. Helmets are really difficult. Mandalorian armor is easy to make out of Sintra. I can totally do that if it's not too complicated.
Sintra and then just heat it.
You know, to me, cosplay is for anybody, whether you're just buying an off-the-shelf $40 costume at Party City or you invest $2,000 and buy it or make it, whatever. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you make out of it. But to me, it is definitely more meaningful if you have more of a hand in the costume. Like I'm at the point now where I don't really like to wear a costume that I've just 100% just bought. You know, I want to at least have a hand in it. It's like the Star-Lord costume I'm working on. I can't make a leather jacket, a leather trench coat. There's no way. So I bought a leather trench coat. I can't make a helmet, but I can buy an unfinished helmet and then have to sand it and prime it and paint it and at least do that. So I'm happy with that. So for me, the number one costume, which I'm most proud of, that stands out the most, that has gotten the most attention, is my Mandalorian Captain America costume that I recently. I recently did that. It's a funny story. I was at a nerdy yard sale that somebody alerted me to. It was an older guy, and he was selling off a bunch of stuff to make room in his house. And I had already done a steampunk Mandalorian costume, which I'm still kind of playing with. Still not happy with it. Mm-hmm. But I had already painted and primed and painted and sanded and everything. I had just done a Mandalorian helmet for that costume. So I wasn't looking for one, but he had one there, and it was right out of the mold, and it was in pretty bad shape. It had some dents in it and needed a lot of TLC. And, you know, something like that probably would run at least like $100 typically. If it's not in good shape, if it's in good shape, out of the mold, you know, 150 to 200 for a really good one. Mm-hmm. And it was at this garage sale, it was $50. And I thought, okay, well, that's, you know, I'll pass. And then I bought a bunch of stuff, and then I went to my car, and then I was hanging out. I ran into some people I knew, and we were talking and stuff. And as time went by, I kept looking over at that stupid helmet sitting on the table, and it was just eating at me because I love doing that kind of stuff. I love sanding and priming and painting and coming up with new designs and stuff. So finally, I'd been there a couple hours, and I went over to the guy that was running the yard sale. I said, you know, would you take $25 for the helmet? And he said, yeah, now I would. So then I had the helmet, but I didn't have a plan for it. So then it literally sat on my table at home for like 2 weeks as I sat there and stared at it and thought, okay, well, now what am I going to do with this thing?
Right.
You know? And I had it down to either I was going to do a Mandalorian cap costume, which meant a whole new costume, or I was going to do another steampunk helmet and do like an over-the-top, just put all kinds of stuff on it, you know, make it like a crazy helmet. Mm-hmm. And then I finally decided, let's do the Captain America Mando. And I actually did one iteration. It was kind of half foam and half Sintra. And I don't know, I wouldn't say it went viral, but it got far more attention than any costume I've ever done. And shortly thereafter, I ended up throwing like half the costume in the trash because I wanted to make it all out of Sintra. Uh-huh. So the parts I made out of foam, I was like, you know what, this would be better if I made it out of Sintra. Threw it right in the trash and made it all over again. And now I think it's even better. But that's my favorite. What's your favorite costume that you've done?
After this, can we do like each of our favorites, like his favorite of my costume?
Sure.
And my all right.
Okay.
So my favorite costume that I wear is definitely Falcon. I don't know why I love that costume so much, but it's definitely my favorite. I still don't know why it's my favorite though.
That's
okay.
Don't know. It's just your favorite. That's all.
It's because it's unique and not a lot of people do it.
Yeah, you don't see many Falcons out there. It's hard, you know, especially if you make it to scale. Like an adult with Falcon wings, the wingspan is like 10 feet wide or something, you know, because the wings are much wider than, like when I put my hands out, the wings go out much further. So his Falcon costume is made out of, I mean, it's pants, boots. I made gun holsters out of foam, which are pretty simple, and a belt. And then the wings, I bought like a BMX chest protector, like a child. So it's a big, heavy.
I get one of those that like you can spray paint it, but not put the Falcon wings just for me to wear.
Yeah, you want to just wear a BMX chest protector to like to school for no reason. That'd be cool. But it's like a real durable, real heavy gauge plastic. You know, with the strapping, it's meant to buckle around your body and stuff, which is a really good base. And then I literally had him lay on his back on the floor and put his hands out. And then I measured and drew like, okay, this is about how big the wings should be based on his wingspan. And then I made the wings out of Sintra. And then I figured out a way to bolt them to the back of the harness. And I used big magnets because I wanted him to be able to walk with the wings down. And then I wanted him to be able to grab them and put the wings up and then let go of them and have them stay up for pictures. So then he could pull out his guns.
Right.
And, he could do different poses and stuff. So I used magnets in the back so he can extend the wings and they'll snap into place with the magnets, and then he can let go. But then he can grab it and pull them down pretty easily too. So yeah, that was a pretty cool.
Maybe that's
costume.
why I like that costume. Is so many of these I have to like carry the guns, and when I need to do something, I like set them down or something, and I might forget them. But these, you made the holsters and everything, and especially I don't have to walk around, and then when I take a picture, I can't hold the guns. It's either them down like that. You have them magnetized. And another actually cool thing I'd like to mention about cosplaying is when you're wearing this suit, you actually kind of feel like the character you're dressing as.
Oh, totally. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a total slouch, and when I put on that cap suit, man, my chest is out, my shoulders are back. Absolutely. I talk in a deeper voice. Hey, how are you, young man? Hello, soldier. Absolutely. Yeah, you totally feel like you're that character.
And then it's especially, it doesn't happen to me, but I kind of get the same emotion as you just watching it happen to you, is when you're in a suit and the little kids think that you're actually the character that you're dressing up as, and they're like, Captain America!
Oh, yeah, and they run up and hug you.
They don't really think I'm them because I'm not tall enough and big
right.
enough.
They look at you like, it's Falcon. Wait, he's not old enough to be Falcon.
And then when they look at you, they're like, oh, Captain America, whatever you're wearing, they're like completely in awe, and they love that. It's just so cute.
Yep.
So you wanted to ask your dad what favorite costume?
Yeah. What's your favorite costume that I wear?
Oh, man. I got to think of all of them.
Captain America. I'll be like, no, that's... Besides Captain America.
No, it wouldn't be Captain America. Well, what we try to do, the majority of the costumes we've done are Marvel, first of all, which anybody that knows us knows that. We've done some Star Wars stuff. But I really like doing costumes that go together. So again, primarily I do different versions of Captain America. So most of Gavin's costumes have been things that go with my costume. So I'll be Cap, and he's done
Dum Dum Dugan, Falcon, also Captain America, Skinny Steve, Coulson, a lot.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, the one that I just wore today, I forgot.
Star-Lord is one that I really like, but that doesn't go with Captain America.
Yeah, tactical Coulson.
So it's more meaningful to me to get pictures of us together when our costumes go together. But man, my favorite costume of yours.
Oh, darn it, I forgot that one.
Oh, man.
So when we were doing our favorite costumes that we wear, it's actually tied between Falcon and Reaper, because Reaper really stands out. It's not Marvel or DC.
You need to wear your Reaper. You haven't worn it any, right? You know, Reaper from Overwatch.
I'm not familiar with it.
I just looked that up.
He's a really cool character.
Awesome. We did a costume for that. We're still working on it a lot, but I still really like that costume because, like I said, all our costumes are Marvel, like you said also, and just like we said, we like Marvel, so we do Marvel cosplays. But recently, I've gotten into Overwatch completely. I love Overwatch, so we did one costume, and now I like Reaper.
Yep.
So now I have a Reaper costume.
I'm going to go, my favorite costume of yours, it's not the most elaborate costume, but it's not something that you see hardly ever, and it's so appropriate for us, is your Skinny Steve costume. So he has basically the pre-serum Steve Rogers, little skinny, scrawny Steve, before he gets the serum. And because Gavin's like half my size next to me, so I'm Captain America, and he's little skinny Steve, it's just a great... Well, compared to me...
At least you're not baby Steve.
Someday, yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Beefcake.
Yeah. So someday you'll be bigger than me, and I'll be Skinny Steve. How's that?
Yay!
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a simple costume. It's just khaki pants, and actually I don't know who this adult is that was in the Army that wore a shirt that Gavin can wear, but it's a shirt from the Army surplus store that it's big on him, but it's not huge. So I don't know who this guy was that was in the Army that wore a shirt that's just a little bit bigger than a 10-year-old, but and then the dress Army hat and a silver, like in the first Avenger when he first picked up that silver shield that Stark had and Peggy shot him. It's just all it looks like the cap shield, but it hasn't been painted yet.
Right.
It's one of those.
And it doesn't have the star either.
And then it's got dog tags. And then he wears an SSR T-shirt under it. So it's a simple costume.
And the dog tags even say Skinny Steve. Steve Rogers. And, Rogers Steve. It's backwards.
Yeah, last name first.
Yeah.
And we got those at the Army surplus store. And when he's in that and I'm in like a full-blown cap suit, it's just, I don't know, it's just awesome.
So what's your favorite costume that your dad wore?
Okay.
Same reaction I had when you asked me that.
Okay, Boba Fett cap because.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest for a second.
Uh-oh.
Dad knows
The truth
that.
comes out.
We just haven't mentioned this yet. So Dad knows that I just give him a hard time because he loves Captain America so much. Sometimes I say, "Oh yeah, I hate Captain America," just to mess with him a little. But when I see him in the Captain America Boba Fett, I completely forget about that because it doesn't look like him, but it does at the same time, and it looks completely awesome. So that's the one Captain America suit that I love you in.
So we agree that's my coolest costume.
Yeah.
All right, very good. We're on the same page with that one.
I guess cool. I guess speaking about Captain America, I follow you on social media, and you had a little delivery from Pakistan that only took 3 days.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. That's my latest Captain America costume. It's the Civil War costume.
The one that you wore earlier.
The one that I just wore this morning. That's right.
I guess we can also segue to the event that you were at.
Sure. Yeah. It's from a company called White Sheep Leather. Sheep, as in SHEEP. White Sheep, not sheet. They're called White Sheep Leather, and they are in Pakistan, of all places. And they make amazing. They started with leather. That's why it's called White Sheep Leather. But there's also a group I'd like to give a shout out to called Build a Better Captain America, which is a Facebook group. If you are a Captain America cosplayer or thinking about making any kind of a Captain America costume, definitely look up Build a Better Captain America on Facebook. And the people that run that group have worked very closely with White Sheep. White Sheep has been great about working with us to make their product better. And a couple of the guys from Build a Better Cap have worked really hard with White Sheep to make their costumes not only more screen accurate, but more comfortable, more breathable. So the new costume I just got is the Civil War cap suit. It's the pants and undershirt and jacket. And it's made of Lycra. So they have a Lycra suit and they have a Cordura suit. So Cordura is more of like a ribbed, heavy material.
Like backpacks are made of.
Yeah, like backpacks are made of. Yeah, exactly. Very heavy, very cool looking, very hot. And the Lycra, I didn't even know until I looked at this suit. When I heard Lycra, I always think of like the Spider-Man suits, the very skin-tight, stretchy, thin material.
Or Ms. Marvel.
That's right.
Like we saw earlier,
That was Captain Marvel. Now you're doing it. I always call her Ms. Marvel too. It's Captain Marvel.
When you think Captain Marvel, you think boy. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
I don't know. Anyway, but this suit is made of a thicker Lycra, and it's super comfortable. It breathes awesome. And yeah, it's got to my house in 3 days from Pakistan, which is
really
pretty amazing.
soft.
That's
And,
incredible.
yeah, it's very comfortable.
And I just want to mention, it has like all these snaps that are on there, and you have to snap everything together. When you're putting it on there, you're thinking, okay, this is going to look terrible with all these snaps. But then when you put it on and you put everything on and you look at it, it's like, that looks amazing. That's another cap suit that you look really good in.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's our last episode. We had a Tracy Hutner girl, and she talked about some of the charity events that she does as a cosplayer. You mentioned that you were at an event this morning. Would you like to talk about that and maybe some other ones that are coming up in the near future?
One comment about this. He dragged me out of bed at 6:30 in the morning.
No. I dragged you out of bed at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh
Keep thinking that it was 6:30, then it doesn't seem as bad, but it was 5:30. It was dark when we got up this morning. I could talk for 2 hours just on charitable cosplay, but I don't think I know anybody who has gotten into cosplay to do charitable cosplay. You know, that's not why I got into cosplaying. I got into cosplaying to go to cons and
because of me.
And because of you, and to take pictures with my son and to have moments with my child and that kind of stuff. I don't remember exactly how or when. There wasn't like one single moment that I got into charitable cosplay. But I do remember there's a number of groups that I'm in. I'll give them all a mention here in a second. But two of the groups that I'm in, which are primarily based in Los Angeles, had both asked me to get involved with them. And of course I wanted to, but I kind of told them both no at first because they do more events in LA. And, living in San Diego, I love doing charitable work, but driving 2 hours each way to an hour and a half long event just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
So at first I actually told both of the groups no. And then just because you're not in the group doesn't mean you can't do events with them. Like all the groups that I'm a part of usually invite other people that aren't in the group yet to come out and try it, in hopes of recruiting them. So probably a year and a half to 2 years ago now, one of the groups that asked me to join was Agents of Cosplay, which is located in LA primarily. And then another group is the Avengers Initiative / West Coast Avengers, which is based in, there's a Southern California group, again, mainly in LA. There's more people in LA, there's more cosplayers in LA. That's why there's more of this charitable stuff in LA. And then the Avengers also have a Northern California group as well. And both of those groups are the ones that asked me to join. At first I was like, I didn't want to join and then not be able to hold up my end of the bargain. And both of the groups were like, look, you don't have to go to every event, just go to the ones you can. But I didn't want to commit to them and say, yeah, I want to join, and then I never go to any events because they're all too far away. Right. So it's funny in that I declined joining both of the groups, but then like every event that they invited me to, I ended up being able to go to. It just depends on my schedule and how far away it is and how long the event is and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty funny that I didn't join them, and then I'm doing all these events, and then finally it was like, okay, look, I might as well join the club, So I joined those two, and then in San Diego, I went to a charitable event and ran into the San Diego Star Wars Society, which is a great group in San Diego, closer to home for me. And it's called the San Diego Star Wars Society, and they used to only bring in Star Wars cosplayers because Star Wars Society. Mm-hmm. And at some point they decided, some of the events that group goes to are Star Wars focused. In fact, we're at the downtown San Diego Public Library recording this right now, and on May 13th, they have a Star Wars Day here at the library. Okay. And so one of the events the Star Wars Society did was that event, which is a Star Wars focused event. So for that event with that group, I came as a photographer and I took pictures because at that time I didn't have a Star Wars costume. And they decided that, some of the events are Star Wars focused, but some aren't. So they started bringing in people that didn't have Star Wars costumes that could cosplay at events that weren't Star Wars focused. So at the time I was only Cap. And, if the event dictated Star Wars only, I would come as a photographer if I came at all. If it wasn't Star Wars focused, then I could come in my costume. Mm-hmm. And then a new group that was just started on January 1st of this year is the Science Fiction Coalition. I'm one of the board members of that group. I'm the social media guy for that. I'm actually the social media guy for all four of these groups, which, again, I could talk about for another hour if you wanted to. But so the Science Fiction Coalition is based in San Diego. It's an all-encompassing science fiction, as the name would dictate. Superheroes, Star Wars, Star Trek, Alien, Predator, whatever. Group.
Alien and Predator.
Alien and Predator. Another couple of movies. We just started watching some of the 80s and 90s classics. So the Science Fiction Coalition is the newest group, and we're doing awesome so far. We've got at least one event booked for every month this year, basically, and which leads me into the event that we did this morning, which was the 13th annual Race for Autism at Balboa Park. Friday the 13th. It's not Friday, it's Saturday. It's the 13th annual. It's not on the 13th. It's on the 25th. I think today's the 25th. Anyway, so today was the Race for Autism at Balboa Park. It is a fundraiser for local autism programs, and it was a 5K run and a 1K walk to raise money. And it was at Balboa Park, so we got up at 5:30 this morning.
Quiet.
Just think how late it's going to seem when you wake up like at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. You're like, oh my God, I slept in. So I mean, at events like this, we show up and we walk around and basically we take pictures with people. And it's awesome. Yeah, a lot of the young kids, like Gavin mentioned earlier, they think I am Captain America, and a lot of them are wearing Captain America T-shirts, mm-hmm. and it's pretty sweet.
And speaking of, I have a question for you.
For me?
Wait. No, I've already asked you this. Now I remember the answer. But anyways, this is just a comment. I remember when he woke me up at 5:30 in the morning.
That's hard to even say, isn't it?
Woke me up at 5:30 in the morning. He wasn't even tired. I'm like, how late have you been? How early have you been up?
I was
He's like,
ready
I
to
couldn't
rock and
sleep
roll.
at night. I'm like, oh.
You wait. When we get home from this, I'm going to crash. You watch.
I guess you haven't discovered coffee yet, Gavin.
Yes.
I've discovered it. I just don't like it.
And the other thing, too, I wanted to mention is, getting your child into charitable cosplay. So, I try to bring Gavin to as many of these charitable events as I can. But, you got to be smart about it. Like we did an event at a Food for Less in Lemon Grove, I think it was.
Okay.
And it was a fundraiser for Make-A-Wish Foundation. And basically all it was we worked with the store manager and we set up a big black backdrop in the front of their store. Like right when you came into the store, you would see a bunch of costumers and a black backdrop. And if people want to take a picture with us, they have to just donate at least $1 into a box that goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we were there for 3 hours and we raised about $300 for Make-A-Wish, which was great. But standing in a grocery store for 3 hours in a costume is not a 10-year-old's idea of a good time. So It's something like that. I left him at home because I know he's going to go crazy.
Standing in a place for 3 hours isn't a 10-year-old's idea. Neither is waking up at 5:30 in the morning.
Excellent point, young Padawan.
Going to bed at 5:30 in the morning is fine, but waking up at that time, no.
But this event at Balboa Park, it's outside. There's a lot going on. There's going to be over 5,000 people there. They had a lot to do for kids. So
there's a bunch of Pokestops in Balboa Park.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have a phone yet, so he's not playing Pokemon Go yet.
Getting one soon.
Which we could also talk about for 2 hours. The fact that Gavin doesn't have a phone. But at this event, I knew there'd be plenty of room for him to roam, and he did his time in his Hawkeye costume with us and took some pictures, and then he's not going to stay with us the whole time, so I let him go play some games
I got 2 bags worth of toys and stuff just from earning games and everything.
Yeah, he had.
I got this glass flash cup. I'm surprised it didn't break on. DC.
It's at home. It's okay. This isn't a Marvel podcast.
I know. I'm just kidding.
So he got 2 bags full of goodies from, they had ring toss and I don't know what else, but they had a bunch of games for kids.
Even got these awesome shades.
Yeah, those cool sunglasses that you can't see because it's a podcast, but we can see them and they're really cool.
Yeah, right.
We'll take pictures with it later.
There we go.
So, obviously, we'll go a little more in depth with WonderCon in a little bit. But I was curious, do you have any cosplay plans for WonderCon?
Gavin, I have no idea. Well, I have one thing that I know I'm going to do for Gavin. So,
should we just leave it as a reveal or?
Oh no!
Okay.
That's nothing. I don't have anything. Well, I have something new, I guess, but it's not like a big secret or anything. So, I don't know that we're even going to cosplay on Friday. I'm not sure yet. We're definitely cosplaying Saturday and Sunday, and on Saturday, I know you're going to get into this in a minute. On Saturday evening, I'm moderating a panel, so I need to be out of costume before we get to that point, but that's not till 7:15 at night. And then on Sunday, I'm on 2 panels in the same room, which is nice, at 12 and 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And those are cosplay-related panels, so I need to be in costume for those. And then immediately after that second panel, which ends at 2, we are going to book it into the Golden Apple Comics booth, I think is the name of it.
Don't look at me. I don't
I'm just looking at you and thinking at the same time. I think it's Golden Apple Comics, which is a comic book store in L.A., and Gabriel Luna, who plays Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
who I hung out with for a really long time.
Who Gavin is very good buddies with, yeah. Cool. Gabriel Luna and Felipe Smith, who was the creator of the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider character, are both going to be signing. It's like a limited edition, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider comic book, like a crossover edition, like a limited edition. And we've prepaid for one of those. So we have to be over there by 2:45 to get the comic and get it autographed. So we're going to be Johnny Blaze, myself, and Robbie Reyes, Gavin, when we hit the Ghost Rider comic book signing at the booth. That's the only thing I know for sure. Myself, on Saturday, I think I'm going to do my Mando Cap costume. And then I think Sunday morning, I have a new Red Skull thing that I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to do that Sunday morning. Now, Gavin, other than being Robbie Reyes on Sunday, I have no idea. I actually don't usually plan what I'm going to wear at a con or what he's going to wear until
I might do
like
Hawkeye
a day or two
again.
before.
I might do Hawkeye again
Yeah, Hawkeye's
because
good.
I want to talk about this costume just for a second.
Yeah.
So my mom made that costume.
Mm-hmm.
I think like completely. She didn't.
Well, she made it's a big
it.
trench coat. It's
Yeah, I
like
know,
the
but
trench
she
coat that
made
Hawkeye.
it, right?
Right. Yeah, she totally made it. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
she made the entire thing, and it comes with these 2 pockets. I didn't think there was anything in it, but then when I went to the convention today, before I had these bags, I'm like, okay, I needed somewhere to put it, and I put it in there, and it fell like all the way down to my feet, but it didn't come out. It actually went down to the trench coat. It was still in the trench coat. I'm like, oh my god! And I looked inside. That pocket is huge.
So you want to dress up as Hawkeye because your trench coat has big pockets?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
Switch them to inside pockets.
No, that's a good one. I mean, Gavin has a Mando costume, but I'm not totally thrilled with it, and that's a hard one for him to wear at a big con like that with the helmet and the gun and everything. So I don't know that he's going to wear that. So we may not match on Saturday. But then if I do Red Skull on Sunday morning, who should you be? Captain America. Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Well, whatever you come as, I'm sure we'll look forward to what you'll be on Sunday.
Awesome.
Besides cosplaying, what other things are you guys into? As Shawn said earlier, you probably wouldn't want to come to the podcast because you wanted to play Xbox. So
you were in the bathroom. You weren't supposed to hear that.
what kind of video games are you into? You mentioned Overwatch earlier, but
Overwatch, Roblox, Rocket League, and Titanfall. And I saw you lip syncing. Never mind. Yeah, those
For
are basically
me, it's Titanfall, and that's
yeah,
it.
that's like the only game that even knows anything about.
But I don't play the Xbox anywhere near as much as Gavin does.
Back then when I was playing Overwatch and we were doing the tutorials and playing versus AI, now I know everything about Overwatch, front and back, every in and out, every single little detail about it. The backstories, the characters. I could name all the characters right now.
Maybe we should do a video.
Name them all.
Name them all. Okay, here we go.
Okay, Lucio Zenyatta. I'm starting off with supports. Lucio Zenyatta, Symmetra, Mercy. That's all the supports. Tank. Can't forget Orisa. Orisa, Reinhardt, Zarya, Roadhog. Yeah, and Winston. Yeah, and then there's defense, which is Bastion, Hanzo, Junkrat, Mei, and Torbjorn. And then offense, there is Sombra, Reaper, which is the one that we have a cosplay of, Soldier 76. It's kind of hard saying them all out loud, but I can do it. Wait. I'm missing 3, and I
Did you say Genji?
Right. Genji, McCree, and I'm trying to think of their ultimates. That's how I remember them all.
Well, that's pretty much all of them.
And Pharah.
Pharah, yeah, there you go. I don't know if that's all of them, but it's really, really close if it is.
It's not like I could tell if you were right or wrong.
It's a lot of characters.
That's cool.
It's a cool game. So you were asking what we're into outside of conventions, and then you mentioned the Xbox. What else? What else do we like to do?
You like to draw.
I like to draw. You used to like to draw. You don't like to draw so much anymore. I take him to Starbucks to draw, and he sits and watches YouTube videos about Overwatch.
Roblox.
I saw you post something about you were playing electric guitar.
Yeah, not much. I haven't really played guitar. I've never been that good at it. It's just something I did for fun. But
Right.
yeah, I don't play it that often anymore. Once in a while, I pick it up and rock out and play some Green Day or something.
Nice. I know both of you are into Marvel.
Yes.
If someone was thinking about getting into Marvel, be it movies, TV, comic books, any of the animated series, what would you recommend that they check out first?
Overwatch. No, I'm just kidding.
Overwatch and everything else. Well, again, I still am not a big comic book reader. We got into the world of Marvel through the movies and then later the television. Now we've never had Netflix. We've never seen any of the Netflix shows. Everybody has always told me that they're too adult for Gavin. All of them, and so we've just never. I've never even.
For the people that said that, too bad. I'm gonna watch them anyway. Now we have Netflix.
No, we don't have Netflix yet. It's on Xbox. It's on Xbox, but you have to sign up for it though. We haven't signed up for it. Nice try. So we haven't watched any of the Netflix. We haven't watched any of the Netflix stuff. Obviously, we're huge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. So I mean, our path to the Marvel universe is through the movies, and I mean that's like if you didn't know anything about Marvel. I think that's the quickest and easiest way to learn a whole lot about Marvel. I mean, comic books. Good God, there's how many years of comic books with different storylines and different iterations of different characters over and over again.
Well, I think like the first comic to come out was like in 1915, somewhere around there. So 1915 to 2017, so about 1,000 years.
1,000, huh? Okay, something like that. Well, they've been out forever, and I mean, to me at this point in my life, that's one of the reasons I haven't gotten into comic books. Is like, God, where do you begin?
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many. Like, I love Cap, but I don't want to go back and start at 1941 and start reading 70-year-old comic books.
Yeah, I'm starting to get back into comic books myself, and you just got to pick your battles, I guess.
And then if you try to get into something recent, like if you try, here's this new comic, like the new Ghost Rider, you start reading something current, and then you get all excited, and then they might cancel it.
Right.
And then you're like,
or they might do something, and the whole universe is screwed up, and
right. So I
Captain
think
America dies.
So I think the movies are the shortest, easiest way to learn a lot about a lot of the characters. And what's great now is, like most people know who Captain America is and Iron Man and Hulk and all that, but it's great that we're getting so much deeper into the lower level characters that everybody, like how many people really know anything about Daredevil, or Punisher, or Jessica Jones, or now we're getting a Captain Marvel movie. Who knows anything about? I don't know anything about Captain Marvel, but it's exciting. Like I remember we were in Hall H and at the Marvel panel, and they announced
Brie Larson.
We're gonna make not that one. They announced we're gonna make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We were like, "You the heck is the Guardians of the Galaxy?" Right? I didn't know who they were. I never heard of them because I don't know the comic books.
And now he can name all.
And now
I'm not naming all the characters.
And now, I mean, it's a whole nother branch in the Marvel universe that you get to learn. And that's what's exciting, is to learn about all these other characters that you have no idea. Doctor Strange. I didn't know when I saw that movie. We didn't know anything about Doctor Strange. I don't, there's Doctor Strange, there's Mordo, which I always say Mordor by mistake, but too many Lord of the Rings rewatches, I guess. But, the ancient one, like that, that's it. I don't know anything else, So that movie, I was really excited for that movie because it's all new. It's all new stuff. It's a whole other branch on the Marvel tree. So
interestingly, like you hear about the Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil being the Defenders, but actually Doctor Strange was part of the original Defenders.
Was he?
It was him, Hulk, and Namor, and the Silver Surfer. So,
see, I want to see one of the comic books that I did start to read a little bit for a few issues. Was it called Thunderbolts?
Oh yeah,
and it was Deadpool and Red Hulk and Elektra and Ghost Rider. I want to say we're missing one, but
yeah,
I mean those four characters
Punisher.
alone. Punisher, yeah, it was the red Punisher, like with the red outfit
that
and
is
the
that
white
chibi outfit, but they're all covered in bullets.
Yeah.
I'm like, who has? Oh yeah.
But I mean, can you imagine a movie with those characters in it? I mean,
that'd be amazing.
I would love to see that.
I want to see Red Hulk in a movie.
Maybe we will.
That'd be pretty cool. How did you guys get involved with the Marvel Report?
The Marvel Report. The Marvel Report has been around for, it was September, so like a year and a half now. And I don't remember how it happened exactly, but the beautiful thing about, well, besides the weather, the beautiful thing nerdy-wise about living in Southern California is there's so much going on and there's so many conventions. And more conventions popping up all the time. You've got almost, it seems like, a convention a month. From the monsters like San Diego and WonderCon down to the smaller ones. There's a couple new ones. There's a new one starting this year, Comic-Con Revolution.
Yeah, I think there's probably like 1,000 comic book related conventions a year now.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, and there's so many, which is great for us cosplay wise, because like if you lived in Nebraska and you had one con a year, I mean, imagine how that would be. You go to one convention a year. I mean, we go to one, seems like one a month at least.
Right.
And now I totally forgot what your question was.
How did you get involved with the Marvel?
Oh, the Marvel Report. Yeah. So you go to all these conventions, and the beautiful thing about cosplaying and going to all these conventions is you start to see the same people over and over again, and you make friends, and especially nowadays with social media, it's not like you go to a con in January and you see all your buddies, and then you don't see them again until you go to a con in March, a couple months later, or something like that. You stay in contact with all your friends on social media, and I was approached by a good friend of mine, Lauren Galloway, and was asked if I wanted to be a part of the Marvel Report. And I've never done any kind of reporting or writing or interviewing or anything like that, but she knew what a big Marvel fan I was, and what a big Marvel fan Gavin is, of course.
Speaking of Lauren, did you see that donut that she posted from Peterson's?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna have to check that out.
See, I was in the middle of a workout, and I see that go up, and I'm like,
curse you, Lauren, for posting a donut in the middle of my workout. Yeah. So at first I was like, what? It's not something I've ever done, like reporting, writing stories, whatever. And so they brought me on board, and we were brand new in September of 2015, and it's been great. I mean, I think we have around somewhere between 25 and 30 people in the Marvel Report that are all across the United States. And the nice thing about it is, you can kind of write whatever you want. Like everybody has their thing. Like I don't know. Like if you wanted me to write an article about comic books, I couldn't. I don't know enough. It would be poorly written at best. But I'm super knowledgeable and super passionate about the movies and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, we have people that don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are huge comic book readers and run out every week to buy a whole bunch of new comic books and read them. So it's great in that everybody kind of has their own niche. And, we have like a private Facebook group. Mm-hmm. And when news breaks, somebody drops it in there, and whoever grabs it writes it up, and there you go. So it's been great. It's gotten us some press opportunities at conventions. Gavin has, I think, more to his cuteness than the fact that I'm with the Marvel Report, but Gavin's gotten to interview some pretty cool Marvel and DC people, which is awesome. Yeah, but more Marvel. He's interviewed a couple people from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's interviewed Neil McDonough that played Dum Dum Dugan. I really want to get him to interview Clark Gregg, like in his Coulson outfit. I think that would be awesome, but that hasn't happened yet. In fact, we're going to Phoenix Comic-Con at the end of May, and there's going to be a bunch of Marvel people there. Daredevil and Punisher will be there.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And Neil McDonough and Ming-Na Wen will be there. So hoping to get some cool. Gavin's got a Punisher costume, so I think we might have to get a photo of him with Punisher and Daredevil. That'd be cool. And maybe set up some interviews. We'll see. But it's been a lot of fun. It's a great. I really enjoy doing the events and panels and writing. It's not a job, so there's no pressure to get articles pumped out or anything like that. So I kind of write whenever I want to and write about whatever I want to.
Cool. Nice.
Oh, I guess it's involving Marvel.
Well, it's the Marvel Report, so can't really report on DC stuff, or Star Wars.
New one, Batman.
Yeah, can't do that.
In addition to a Marvel Report, you guys involved with Sideshow Collectibles. You want to talk how you got involved with that and what you do for them?
Yeah, we do product reviews for Sideshow. Hot toys, I collect hot toys. So too many hot toys. Matter of fact, it's kind of addicting. But anyway, and I do professional photography, so I'm pretty good at taking close-up product photos of hot toys and that kind of stuff. So Sideshow asked us if we would do kind of like a father-son review of their products. So what we do is we get a hot toy, and I do a photo shoot with it and take some really good up-close portraits of the figure. And then we didn't really do video reviews. We do written reviews for their blog. So Gavin and I would sit down and just talk about it, and I would just write down some notes like to Gavin, what jumps out at you at this figure? Like, what's the first thing that you see that goes, whoa, look at this, and that kind of stuff. And then I would put it into a written review and then send it off, and they'd put it on their blog. So.
Cool. What's one thing recently that you guys reviewed?
For Sideshow? Because we also do Kotobukiya. We do reviews for them also.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
And the most recent anything we've reviewed was the Spider-Man.
Yes, I was thinking Captain America.
Is that the one hanging from the light pole?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. It's the Kotobukiya Art FX Plus.
It's this
10th scale figure.
Animated.
Yeah, it's got a metal base,
Kinda
a metal
like
circular
crouched
base, and it's the Marvel Now Spider-Man, I think, because they've got different Spider-Man figures. That was the most recent one that we do. And then Gavin has a YouTube channel, and we do unboxing videos, like Collector Core, the Stan Lee. He just won the Stan Lee. Have you heard of the Stan Lee box?
Yeah,
that just came out recently.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like 1 of 3 or something like that.
Yeah. So the Stan Lee box did something pretty brilliant. So they had a contest on their website for unboxing videos, and I'm trying to remember. They gave away 3 prizes. One was for, I think it was like the funniest or most original unboxing video, something like that, like most unique kind of thing. And then one of them was like the best unboxing video, and then the third one was just a random draw of all the videos submitted, so anybody can win, which is smart. And then you just upload the video to YouTube and enter on their website. And
Wait, which one did we win?
I don't even know. It shows on their website, and it says the 3 winners for the first box, and Gavin's video was one of them.
Wait. Maybe it was one from each category. I don't know. Like, what if it's one from each
I don't
category?
know. Well, yeah, it's a random winner, and then the most unique video, and then the best video. I think it was the 3 categories. But on their website, it just showed the
We
3
got all
winners.
3.
Yeah. So for Gavin's
What
unboxing,
if you did like totally different ones, but like different cosplays? But
yeah, there you go. So for Gavin's Stan Lee unboxing video, he dressed as Stan Lee for the unboxing video. He has a Stan, although
nice.
getting the mustache to stay on is not fun. So he didn't have the mustache, but
Just
he was-
putting it
he
on
was-
for 3 seconds.
he was in. He has like a FedEx. What was that? Age of Ultron? When he Civil War. Civil War, yeah, when Stan Lee delivered the package to Tony Stank. He has a
Oh,
he
yeah,
has
yeah.
yeah, he has a FedEx outfit with the Stan Lee. That's a Stan Lee costume, yeah.
That was cool. I guess we can jump to WonderCon.
All right, which is next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend. I guess Alex can just probably do a quick run through over our game plan for WonderCon.
All right.
Let's see. We're going to be there all 3 days. So Friday, I think we're going to concentrate on Artist Alley, talk to artists and do maybe some quick videos for social media. And check out a few panels. Like they have a Goldbergs.
Goldberg.
I didn't tell you that. Yeah, he loves the
Sorry,
Goldbergs.
I
No, it's okay. I wasn't hiding it from him. I just hadn't mentioned it yet. He loves that show.
Just saw that. So
Is that in the
maybe
arena
check-
or is it one of the smaller rooms? Do you know?
It's 300. So
Oh, okay.
medium. Probably,
Okay.
I think it's one of the medium sized
Okay.
rooms. Jim Lee on Friday also. And see Saturday. Quick Draw is always a fun one to do with Sergio Argonis and
Scott
moderated
Shaw.
by Scott Shaw and Mark
Moderated-
Evanier.
Yeah, Mark Evanier is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good host, good MC. See, Wildstorm has a 25th anniversary on Saturday, and Street Fighter has a 30th anniversary.
Speaking of video games, that's my video game.
Street Fighter?
Yeah, I used to go to like all the malls and like just own everybody.
I was never into that one for some reason.
Yeah, and Saturday you also have a Voltron panel.
Oh,
going
sweet.
on too, so that one looks like we must go to.
Is Stephen Young gonna be there?
I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing his name. Sunday, it's like maybe Kevin Eastman has a panel going.
Mr. Ninja Turtle, right?
That's right.
All right.
Yeah. Actually met him one time at the San Diego Comic Art Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had an event there and he was there.
Down in
taking
Point Loma?
pictures. Point Loma.
Yeah, he's got an office or something there, right? Like this little room closed off, like it's like a studio or something.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's
That's
like
pretty cool.
a replica of his,
Yeah.
his own studio.
I've seen that.
Yeah. And I think there's a Princess Leia one on Sunday too. Might
Oh, I
check
saw
out.
that. Like a
Yeah.
fan tribute for.
Tribute one.
Oh boy, bring Kleenex.
So, yeah, maybe just taking a lot of pictures and video. So
Cool.
that's about it.
And I guess you can segue into the panels that you're moderating at WonderCon, Sean.
All right. So Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming to WonderCon. That's not the one I'm moderating, but the show panel itself is, I believe, 2 o'clock on Saturday in room 300 AB. They haven't announced who's going to be on the panel, so I don't know if Clark Gregg or Ming-Na Wen or who's going to be there from the show. Now, last year at WonderCon, if I remember right, pretty much the whole cast was there, which was great, and they had a WonderCon exclusive poster and an autograph signing with a ticket draw in the morning, which is always
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
I don't think they've announced whether they're doing that or not. I would be surprised if they don't, but so far they haven't announced it. And then my panel, which I am moderating, is in the same room, room 300 AB, on Saturday at 7:15. And that panel is the visual effects team from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we're going to have 4 people. The one that most people are more familiar with is Mark Kolpak, who's the head of visual effects on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then 3 other people that work with Mark, and we're going to talk about visual effects. From the show, we had a similar panel with some of the same people at LA Comic-Con, and it was very fun. Totally looking forward to it. And then on Sunday, I think it's the Avalon Room. It's in the Hilton, actually, which I'll be interested to see. Did you know that they had panels
Offsite?
in the Hilton
No.
at WonderCon? I didn't either. This is new to me. Like, what's going on? It's in a room at the Hilton, so I think it's the Avalon Room. And at 12, I got to remember the order now. At 12 o'clock is cosplaying with your kids, which Gavin and I are both on.
Yay!
Yay! With some other mother, daughter, father, son. I don't remember who all is on the panel exactly, to be honest. But it's one adult and one child. Talking about cosplaying with your kids and the challenges, the highs, the lows, that kind of stuff. And then immediately after that, in the same room, maybe I'll change chairs just to mix it up a little bit. I don't know. Is a cosplay panel put on by the West Coast Avengers, which is basically talking about charitable cosplay.
Got it.
So
Cool.
Those are the 3 panels that I'm involved in at WonderCon.
Awesome.
But am I involved in?
You're involved in one of them anyway.
So what time are you going to be waking up at WonderCon?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No. Tell him what we normally do at WonderCon, because this is one of his favorite things to do at a convention. He really can't hear me. What do we normally do at night? Okay, normally we stay, when it's in Anaheim, okay, last year it was in LA, which boo, I don't like the LA Convention Center. When it's in Anaheim, we stay at the Hilton, which is right next to the Anaheim Convention Center. And what do we do at night at the Hilton usually, you and me? Really?
Yeah. Now
What
I
do
know
we
what
do?
you're talking about. So we sit in the lobby and draw. Well, we used to. Now I'm just going to be sitting on my computer or phone. Anyways,
You're not going to have a phone by next weekend. I can guarantee that much.
You ruined my mood. Anyways, so I'm just going to be sitting there like on my computer or something. But
Watching Overwatch videos.
yep. Or playing Overwatch.
You don't have Overwatch for the PC.
No, but there's an Overwatch Roblox version of. Never mind.
Anyway.
Anyways, so we always sit down in this area where there's always all these couches and everything, and we stay there till 1 in the morning, just sitting there. And I order chocolate milk, and I don't know.
And what do I drink? You don't remember what I got? I got chocolate milk too. See, it's been 2 years because last year it was in LA. We didn't get to do it.
Oh, I see.
That's my favorite thing. Like WonderCon is probably maybe my favorite convention because I love, most of the cons, like you drive in, you drive out. And when it closes, you're done. Maybe you grab something to eat, you go home, whatever. WonderCon, we typically stay at the Hilton right there. And you're in it, like we drive up Friday after school.
Mm-hmm.
We get there like at 4 or 4:30, and we park the car in the Hilton parking garage, and it doesn't move till Sunday night when we go home.
Right.
And you're in the convention all weekend. And everybody staying at the 2 hotels right there is there for WonderCon.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been to so many cons that we know so many cosplayers and artists and vendors. And, we literally will sit in that lobby until about 1 or 2 in the morning drinking chocolate milk. And like every 20 or 30 minutes, somebody will walk by that we know. And it makes it into a full weekend of the convention
That's
instead
so
of
cool.
driving in and driving out,
Yeah.
So that's one of our favorite things to do. So I'll be drawing. And Gavin will be probably watching Overwatch videos. But anyway, yeah, we hang out in the lobby at the Hilton. That's where we'll be at night at the WonderCon convention.
So, are there anybody in particular that you're hoping to meet at WonderCon? Both of you?
Oh man,
Clark Gregg.
Mark Gregg. You know, it's funny, Kid Coulson here. I mean, we're on a first name basis with half the cast from that show because we've seen him at so many things. Last year at WonderCon, Ming-Na Wen came across the table to hug Gavin and went, Gavin! And I was like, had a tear in my eye, like, oh my God, she hugged him and knows his name. And then she did the same thing to me and I didn't know what to do. She came over to me and was, Shawn! Came over to the table, gave me this huge hug. I was like, what is even happening right now? So we love everybody from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like I said, one of these days I would love to get Gavin an opportunity to interview Clark Gregg in his Coulson costume. I think that'd be hilarious and awesome. As far as who am I hoping we meet? Well, I know we're going to meet him, and we've met him before, but I'm looking forward to meeting or seeing Gabriel Luna again in our Ghost Rider costumes.
Cool.
That's going to be cool, and I know that's going to happen. So, other than that, I don't know that there's anybody. Oh, well, you wanted to talk about artists, so should we transition into that next? Because there's an artist that I'm going to mention.
You can
here.
go first.
Okay, so
Let me guess.
so you asked when we talked about this podcast earlier. You mentioned maybe I can mention an artist that I like or something. So again, we go to a lot of these cons in Southern California. See a lot of the same artists over and over again. See a lot of amazing art. When we went to San Diego, I think it was the second year we went to San Diego. It's hard to go to these cons and not buy some artwork because it's just amazing, some of this talent these guys have. Mm-hmm. And at that con, I bought a whole bunch of artwork by Greg Horn. I don't know if you know who he is, but his artwork is very detailed and very vivid and colorful, and it's just beautiful artwork.
Oh, is that the guy who mainly draws Flash?
No, that's Norm Rapmund.
Oh, okay.
No, Greg Horn is the guy that drew all the stuff I have on the wall in my office, the Deadpool and the Wolverine and the Deadpool fighting Wolverine and Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, I know. So I bought a bunch of his artwork and I framed it and I had it all put on a wall in my office. Like I think it was 5 pieces.
Okay.
But I don't really like to buy artwork to just tuck it away, So I rarely, because we go so many cons and see so much artwork, I rarely buy artwork. So about 2 years ago, I decided, what would be really cool is if we had artists draw us. Because I love Captain America, and there's a million artists that draw a million amazing pictures of Captain America, but it's just Captain America, right? Mm-hmm. So we have since had a few artists commissioned to draw pictures of us in our costumes. And for WonderCon in particular, I don't know if you've ever heard of Patrick Ballesteros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love Patrick.
He's very local in San Diego.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. And his artwork, there's a lot of artists. It's hard to stand out when there's so many different artists, And I think, to me, Patrick, his artwork definitely, to me, stands out. Mm-hmm. It's like as soon as you see a Patrick Ballesteros piece, it's him, right?
His 25-cent Wonder pieces.
Yeah, his 25-cent Wonder pieces are amazing. And so I contacted Patrick on Twitter about a month ago and asked, because I saw he was going to be at WonderCon, asked him if he did commissions. He gave me a price. I said, okay, I want you to draw. He's going to draw a picture of Gavin and I. I'm going to be in my World War II rescue cap outfit, and Gavin's going to be in his Dum Dum Dugan costume. Okay. And I said, I want like some kind of an action pose, like we're fighting off bad guys or something. Gavin's like got the shotgun or something. So I have no idea what it's going to be exactly.
Okay.
But he's drawing us a commission piece, and I'm super excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, we're excited now too.
Yeah. I knew he was Southern California. I didn't realize he lived in San Diego. That's cool.
San Diego.
Awesome.
I think he's from LA, right? But his wife?
He's, I think, from Bay Area, originally.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, love his work. Gavin, you have any particular artists that you are fond of?
I can think of the art. I just can't think of the artist.
Is it Todd?
No, I remember Todd.
Okay.
But no, that's not the.
Are you talking about Lord Mesa? I'm trying to think of the ones that you like. Lord Mesa?
There's a lot of Supernatural, Flash.
Yeah. Lord Mesa is another one that when you look, it's Lord Mesa's work.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I don't know if he's
LA.
He's LA, so I would be surprised if he's not at WonderCon.
But I'm not sure.
I haven't seen him say that he's going to be at WonderCon. I can't imagine he won't be.
I think the last time we saw him, we were at what's that taco shop right here? Lolitas. We were getting tacos.
You ran into Lord Mesa at the taco shop?
Yeah.
What?
After Comic-Con was over, everyone would go get some dinner.
Oh, nice.
He was there.
That's cool.
Yeah, he had some cool stuff. Like
Yeah. The other artist that we both like that we talk to a lot is Todd Knock, and I love his artwork.
Oh, yeah.
And I commissioned him to do a portrait of me as Captain America at Long Beach last year.
Nice.
I love it. It's a great. He's a master with the Copic markers, and his pictures are really colorful and beautiful, and I love that picture. So
Yeah, definitely. We'll find those guys online and link to their social media and
Awesome.
websites. Yeah.
For me, artist, since we have a father and son on the show, one artist that came to mind was Ethan Castillo. He's a 12-year-old artist from the Bay Area. Also.
12 years old.
12 years
Nice. I have not heard of this person. I'll have to find him.
Yeah, actually, I think first time we actually talked to him was last year at WonderCon, but we've been following him for a couple of years
Cool.
now. And his dad and his family is involved with, him doing his social media and attending and exhibiting at artist alleys, throughout, conventions throughout the U.S., I think.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yes,
Ethan Castillo, he's a real Spider-Man fan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like his favorite character.
Yeah.
Nice.
But last year at Comic-Con, me and Alex threw a little event like a week before Comic-Con. We got in touch with one of the local restaurants.
Yeah.
And we asked if we could host like a little artist meet and greet.
Oh, cool.
So we invited 6 artists that we follow online. Ethan was one of the ones that we invited. He said, yeah. So we had 6 artists show up. We posted their artwork all over the place, and some of the fans came by and hung out with us.
Nice.
So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was called Artists Assemble.
Nice.
And I guess for me, one of the artists that attended that Artists Assemble, his name is Keithan Jones, and going along the kid sort of theme. His publishing company is called Kid Comics, and his tagline is "The kid in you never dies." So
Cool. I like it.
I think that's a little mantra that we can all live by.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and you guys can check him out at kid-comics.com. We had him as a guest on, I think, our 2nd episode, and at the time he was going through the process of his Kickstarter campaign to release a comic book that he's working on called The Power Knights. So he's busy working on that right now. I guess we'll just go quickly to the Thunder Round.
All right.
You're the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. What 5 other people, human, inhuman, or superhuman, do you pick to be on your team?
Ooh, boy. Like anybody from the Marvel Universe.
Anybody
huh?
from the Marvel Universe.
Well, Captain America for me.
You can pick him too.
You go next. So 5 between us. So 1, 2, 3,
Well,
4.
each team, you both have your own teams.
Oh, okay. So we
Yeah.
each get 5.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I'm going to go with my 3 favorite superheroes. So Captain America. And
Deadpool. I take Deadpool. You can't have him.
we can use the same ones. Captain America, Deadpool, and Wolverine, which are kind of polar opposites, but those are my 3 favorite. And then I'm going to go Black Widow and Hawkeye. There's my 5.
How about you, Gavin?
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to take Hawkeye out and add Ghost Rider. Actually, I could just take the Thunderbolts. That's perfect right there. That'd be a pretty good pick.
This is gonna be. Just keep in mind, this is gonna be like a total weird mix of numbers. But my favorite superheroes are kind of like the ones that are characters that like no one's heard of. But so I pick Deadpool, Blink, Gambit. I really like Gambit because I love playing cards. He should know because I can throw cards for like a mile.
Yes, you can.
So and Blink, I just love Blink because of the portal thing. But so Blink, Deadpool, Gambit, 2 more. Ghost Rider, definitely Ghost Rider. Actually, I think I'm gonna wait. Besides Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., did you say?
Well, these are, you could be anybody, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is giving you the authority to build your own team. So-
Okay, then I'll take Quake.
Quake, nice.
Cool.
Excellent.
And I know you guys are better at geography, so where would you want your base of operations to be?
Boy. Well, I'll tell you where I wouldn't want it to be, and that's Denver, Colorado, because every time I fly in and out of Denver, there's massive turbulence, and I hate turbulence, so definitely not Denver, Colorado. Boy, where would I want my base to be? Well, why not Why would I pick any place other than San Diego? I mean, so that's a lame answer, but I'm going to go with San Diego because I don't know where else I'd want to live. You?
I'm still here.
Now, he hasn't been as many places as I have, so he has less of a
Florida.
frame of reference.
I don't know.
Near Disney World?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
how
that's
about
not
like
what I'm
at Disney World?
No, that's not where I'm thinking. Disney Quest.
Oh, have you guys ever been to Disney Quest?
No.
Okay, so really quick, at Disney World, there's I think 6 different theme parks.
Okay.
And are you familiar with Disneyland here?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how there's downtown Disney, right? That you don't need a pass. It's just like a big mall. Here. It's between 2 parks. Down there, there's a
Like an actual mall.
yeah, it's like an actual mall, and it's separate from the parks. It's not like here where it's between 2 parks. You have to drive. Like you have to drive.
Disney Quest was close.
Like you have to drive between the parks. You have to drive to downtown Disney, and at downtown Disney, there's a thing called Disney Quest. And Disney Quest is a 4-story. It's probably half the size of this building as far as the footprint. 4 stories, nothing but video games, arcade games. 1 floor is all pinball machines.
I'm booking my flight tonight.
One floor, which I like.
Take me with you.
1 floor, which I like, is all 80s games. So
Okay.
Joust and Galaga and
there's
Asteroids
not all
and
video games.
well,
The top floor is food, just all food. Yeah, it's all food. It's the top floor.
so anyway,
I remember Disney Quest way more than you.
if you pay to go to Disney Quest, I think it's like $50 a day, which isn't because all the games are once you're in, all the games are free. So you pay $50 and then you just go in and play as long as you want. If you have an annual pass like we used to when we went down there, you just get into Disney. It's like another park. You just get in for free. So we go to Disney Quest. We'd spend like 5 hours just playing video games.
But then he had to pull me
and
out.
one of the coolest things they had.
1 in the morning.
Yeah, when they closed. And one of the coolest things they had there was they had a 4-way air hockey table.
Oh,
So instead of a rectangle, it was a square with a person on each side, and the puck is just all over the place. It's
Crazy.
wild. It's really fun.
I suck at that games. I suck at normal.
So Gavin's shield base is going to be at Disney on the roof of Disney Quest. How's
Yep.
that? Okay, very good. That's a good answer. It's better than mine.
It's a nice cover. If you remember at the end of the Avengers movie, Tony takes the team to eat shawarma. Where would you take your team to eat after a difficult mission?
Outback Steakhouse.
In and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
Ooh, very
Ooh,
good.
nice.
No vegetarians in this podcast.
Do you get your burgers animal style? Or just regular?
I like regular, definitely regular without onions, with chocolate shakes.
Oh, yeah. I love chocolate shakes.
Now I'm hungry. Thanks.
I know.
And there's no In and Out right downtown here.
Jeez.
We're not eating at Bub's.
Oh, have you ever eaten
Yeah,
at Bub's?
I've been to Bub's.
Oh, they have tater tots.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, I love tater tots. They're so much better than French fries. Okay, after the podcast. Go. Next question.
While I was on the caughtonfilmphoto.com blog,
Uh-oh.
which is Sean's photography site, I saw some pictures of Gavin's room in 2013. In the photo of your desk, there's a message from your mom that says, quote, "To my favorite superhero that I love and adore, dream big and follow your heart," end quote. Gavin, would you mind sharing some of your big dreams with our audience?
Play Overwatch every day for the rest of his life. What are your big dreams? What do you want to be when you grow up? How's that? Let's start with that one.
Actor?
Let's see what it is today.
Actor.
It's usually actor or
always been
director. It's usually actor or director.
Yeah.
You want to be a director too. He likes making movies.
And this
What else?
dream is definitely like one of the weirdest ones in the entire world, but I don't care. I want to be a character in Overwatch.
There you
Character
go.
in Overwatch, if you didn't catch that.
Which character?
No, I mean like
Your
me
original-
actually as
Oh,
a character.
okay.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha.
The Gavin character.
The other message on the desk is a nod to Iron Man 2, and I think it exemplifies the type of relationship that the both of you have. It reads as, quote, "Gavin, what is and always will, Gavin, what is and always will be my greatest creation is you. Love, Dad," end quote. Would you mind elaborating on this, Sean?
Do you want me to actually start crying right now? Or- I don't know. It's just, I mean, Gavin is my whole world. And, you know, he's my only child. And I love him more than anything. And that, I don't know how many times we've seen that movie. But every time I see it, I cry. I mean, it's just true. I mean, you're it, man. So
I'm your world and Xbox is mine.
Oh boy! See, next time maybe I'll cry a little bit less.
You're not getting tater tots from Bubs today.
I'm the one that
like
wants.
Bubs.
I'm the one that wants tater tots,
Okay.
not him. So
No, no, no.
you're punishing me with that one. I get. Let me elaborate on one more part of that. Is we do a lot of really cool stuff, and part of that is the fact that we have so many opportunities based on where we live. Again, if I still lived in Illinois, we wouldn't have the opportunity to go to Hollywood premieres of Marvel movies and that kind of stuff. So part of it's based on where we live, and believe me, I try to do as many cool, especially Marvel related things and events as we can possibly do, and I post photos of us going to these things, and I always get comments about, Gavin's the luckiest kid, and will you adopt me, and this kind of stuff that people say, and it's funny, but I think every kid should have an epic childhood, and I try to do everything I can to make Gavin's childhood epic. A lot of people don't know this, but I've never even met my real dad, which is a whole other story, which I won't bore anybody with, but
We'll talk about that on the next podcast.
I never, no, bring Kleenex to that one too. But yeah, no, I've never even met my real dad, and so when I had my only child, I want to be there every step of the way for him, and I want to be the best dad ever, and I want him to have an epic childhood. I want him to not spend every single day sitting on the couch playing Overwatch. Maybe most of them.
My life isn't going to be epic.
Maybe most of them, but not every single one of them. So.
I guess we'll start wrapping up the podcast episode. Is there anything else that we missed that you'd like our audience to know?
Well, I mean, Gavin and I are both on social media. I'm sure you guys will probably link us and everything, but you don't have to follow me, but go follow Gavin. He's got more followers anyway, and he's way better looking and way cooler. But specifically, Gavin does have a YouTube channel.
I'm only cool because you got me there.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm going to cry again.
Silhouette popcorn.
If you go to YouTube and just search for Gavin Richter, you'll find his page pretty quickly.
Subscribe.
And yeah, absolutely. Click subscribe and all that stuff. Mostly what you'll find on there is product reviews and unboxing videos.
Watch all the videos except for the Ant-Man one. Please do not watch the Ant-Man
Apparently
video.
the Ant-Man one's cool. It's got special effects and stuff in it. Oh, okay. Guess I didn't do a good job on that one. But yeah, it's you'll also find some interviews. Gavin interviewing some Marvel and DC people. Hopefully, we'll be adding some interviews from Phoenix Comic-Con. I guess I can add where we'll be if you want to know that. So WonderCon, if I can't even remember we'll be at WonderCon this next weekend. I think the next
It's an Ontario one you're going to also?
The Comic-Con Revolution is May 13th. It's a one-day con only in Ontario. We will be there as part of the Sci-Fi Coalition.
That's California, not Canada.
Yes, exactly. We're not going to Canada for any cons unless they pay us, and that's not happened yet. So, and then at the end of May, the last weekend in May, which is Memorial Day weekend, we'll be at Phoenix Comic-Con in Phoenix, Arizona, which if you live in Southern California and you've ever thought about going, Phoenix is a great, great convention. This will be our third year in a row going. It's a really fun convention. It's big. I would equate it maybe to WonderCon. It's big, but it's not. it's big good. Like it's very large and there's a lot of people, but it's not big bad like San Diego where there's huge long lines and it's really crowded and it's not for everybody. If you go to Phoenix, you'll have a great time. And then beyond that, Long Beach Comic Con, which I don't know the dates, September.
Yeah, it's around that time. It's the one before. LA Comic Con.
I was going to say LA Comic Con is usually sometime around Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know the dates this year exactly. One of the ones that we want to travel to, which we had a lot of fun at 2 years ago, is Heroes and Villains Fan Fest up in San Jose.
Okay.
That's another smaller, really fun convention. And this year, that one is the first weekend in December, which is kind of nice because there's usually not anything around that time of the year. So I don't know for sure if we're going to go to that one, but I would like to go to that one as well.
Cool. And I think me and Alex will be gearing up for the International Mobile Film Festival. We'll be doing a sort of like a red carpet podcast with some of the filmmakers. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. So maybe when you get your phone, you could do a to direct a movie on his phone.
There you go.
and
Well, speaking
submit it for next year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you said red carpet. We're also going to go to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 red carpet in
sweet.
Hollywood, which I don't have a date for yet. It'll be mid-April sometime, but we always go to the Marvel Hollywood premieres, so he'll be sick that day. Go ahead and cough. Yeah. You don't look so good. So sometime.
I guess I need to stay home every single day of the school year because I'm so sick right now.
So sometime in about 3 weeks, you're gonna not feel so well, and we're gonna take the day off and go up to Hollywood
I'm
and
the happiest kid in the world tomorrow.
see James Gunn and the boys at the Guardians red carpet, which is always a lot of fun.
Cool.
Not as press or anything. Maybe one day. I'd love to have Gavin interview Marvel people on the red carpet. That would be cool.
That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, half of them know him now. So.
Exactly.
I have connections.
How do people call my people?
Yeah.
Alex, is there anything else you want to add?
I think that's about it. Just see, maybe Silicon Valley Comic-Con or
That would be a good
Las
one to go
Vegas.
to. I wouldn't mind going to that.
Yeah.
That's in
San Jose.
That's in April, right? That's the end of April. So yeah, I don't think because Grant Gustin is going to be there.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah,
I saw
Flash
that.
announced
Yeah.
that. No.
Yes. So hopefully he'll. I'm really hoping that he'll be at Heroes and Villains Fan Fest in December because that's all the DC TV. That's one's run by Stephen Amell.
Oh, it reminds me,
And
you were
it's-
at the Paley Fest also.
Yes,
How
I
can
love
you?
Paley
I guess
Fest.
before we close the show, you just give us a little recap of your experience there.
Well, Paley Fest, for those that don't know, is in Hollywood. It's at the Dolby Theater where the Oscars are held every year, which is really cool. And it's basically it's always in March. It's about a 10-day to 2-week long stretch in the middle of March, where every day they have basically it's like a big Comic-Con panel. They have a panel for one TV show. So like on one day it'll be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the next day it'll be Flash and the next day it'll be Grey's Anatomy. It's not all nerdy stuff. It's mostly non-nerdy stuff like Grey's Anatomy or Orphan Black or something like that.
Okay.
So we've gone 3 years. First time was an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. Middle time was a Flash Arrow panel. This time we went, which was last weekend, was a DC TV panel. So it was Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. Gavin has something to add.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So I have a question for you, and then I'm going to make a comment. Think about
Okay.
your answer while I'm making a comment. Which actor do you like more? Forget about Marvel and DC.
Okay.
Which actor do you like more, Clark Gregg or Grant Gustin?
Okay. And your comment?
And my comment is, so the last time we were at Paley Festival, it was the Arrow and Flash, and I recited the entire intro to Flash, and then when we came this year, it was like flashing all these scenes in like the show, and then it showed people asking questions, and then it showed me, the longest one, like me like kind of talking about like saying the intro, and I'm like,
Yeah, it was like maybe a 90-second clip to promote Paley Fest. It was before the panel started, and it was a bunch of old clips from old panels.
Okay.
And yeah, one of the clips was him reciting the monologue from
answer?
Flash last year. Clark Gregg.
I like Grant.
That's fine. I mean, it's really close. They're both awesome. I mean, we've met both of them in person, and they're both, really nice dudes. Grant's another one that if I could have him interview anybody, it'd be Clark and Grant. Because
It
those
seem
are
like pretty
the
cool
two.
people.
Yeah.
Like nice people.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess we'll
In
close
the
up.
nerd universe, they're like the most popular ones too. Kind of.
Well, yeah, that's how it goes. If he goes to Heroes and Villains, I mean, it's not going to be easy to get to him. So we'll see what we can do. Just because he doesn't do many cons,
Right. Well, I want to thank both you and Gavin for joining us on the show
Thank
today.
you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Anytime, guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll run into you at WonderCon in your travels next weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll be there for that panel for the VFX.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're making plans to see that one.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll be happy to see you when I'm not sick.
Yeah.
You want to close us out, Alex?
Yeah, we'll close it out. Thanks for listening, everybody, to the Hall H show. Our mission is to put the mainstream Hall H spotlight on artists, writers, and other creatives like Shawn and Gavin Richter. We love especially emerging talent and ones that we think deserve more exposure. So please make sure to visit Artist Alley at any conventions you plan to go this year. Speaking of conventions, please make sure you are continuing to be SDCC fit for the long convention season ahead, and join in on the fun by following the SDCC fit movement online on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're listening on Google Play or iTunes, we would appreciate a rating or a comment. We're also looking for interesting guests to have on the show. So if you know of any suggestions, please reach out to us on social media using the hashtag HallHShow. Peace, cheers, and Artists Assemble.
Woohoo! Artists Assemble. Thanks, guys. See you later.